It's, well, September today, 2018, and the Mavic 2 has just come out. And it's you've got your kind of zoom version, you've got your nice Hasselblad 1-inch sensor version, and the results so far look brilliant. These are getting better and better. And a drone is just the most wonderful mix of technology, photography, and a toy. It's a quadcopter that you can fly with a remote control. I mean, imagine being able to do that when you were kind of 5 or 6 years old. My God, it would be the best thing ever. So it's that, but you can take wonderful video with it. You can take wonderful footage with it, and to add just beautiful element to your creations. Or that's the theory anyway. And that's what I would like to think and like to be able to do. But I just can't bring myself to part with the money to buy a drone, even though it slots so nicely into what I think I would want and be able to use. I'll tell you the things that, I'm obviously thinking about. Firstly, there's the expense. They're not cheap, really. I mean, a decent the Mavic Pro 2 is £1,300, and that's quite a lot of cash, for something that if you're going to spend £1,300 on something, you want to be absolutely sure that you're going to use it. But I'm just not convinced that I would. But you've got your £1,300, but then of course you've got your additional accessories on top of that, haven't you? You've got your batteries, because about runtime is 30 minutes, and then there's a fair amount of charge time between it. So you're going to want to have 2 or 3 battery packs as well. You're going to need spares. You're going to need, this is something that physically flies in the air and has motors that run on it. It has wear and tear. So you're going to want spare props, and you're going to want spare bits in case anything goes wrong. So while the Mavic Pro may be compact and was originally the first drone, I think didn't GoPro do one that absolutely flopped massively because of some fault or something. But it really was the drone that came out and suddenly made everyone look at drones and say, wow, these are things that you can actually carry around. But can I? I mean, if I'm carrying a drone around, I'm going to need other stuff as well. So I've got my drone, and I've got my remote control, and I've got my batteries, and I've got my spares. And then I've got my other cameras, then I've got my lav mics, then I've got my... This is not so simple anymore to just shove in a bag. But anyway, people do it, so it must be possible, right? Okay, well, someone might want to comment on that and say how easy these things really are to carry around. Secondly, you've got the fact that this thing, as I say, is £1,300, and there is a possibility. You have to be completely accepting of the fact that you may lose 1,300 quid like that. It might fly into a tree, it might hit the ground, it might, I don't know, something might go wrong with it, and it might just, you might lose it. It might fall in the water, because a lot of drone footage is done over water. You might lose it. And unless you can take that hit, that you're going to lose a product that costs 1,300 quid. Of course, if you're going to be using it commercially, you'd have insurance, you'd have more than one probably. And but personally, I'm talking about personal enthusiast amateur usage now. Can you justify having something that costs £1,300 and will potentially be lost? I don't know. I don't know if I can. And of course, the final thing really is regulation. Where can you actually fly them? Where do you, if you are a drone owner, if you're watching this video and you are a drone owner, where do you fly it? And I'm really talking about the UK now, because given my personal situation, I'm not going to be flying around the world anytime soon. I'm not going to be flying to multiple countries and filming anytime soon. I travel a fair bit around the UK, but that's about it. So I'm talking about UK. If you are a drone owner in the UK, where do you fly your drone? Where can you fly your drone? Because for me, if I'm going to get something like a drone, I'm going to want to practice. I'm going to want to try it out. And really, I can't fly my drone anywhere near where I live. I would have to travel miles out of the city to be able to use my drone.
Now, please don't see this video as super negative. I know I sometimes have a tendency to err on the side of the pessimistic, but trust me, I would love to be able to fly one of these. I'd love to be able to own one of these and be able to use it wherever I want. But there are laws around it, and I completely understand why those laws exist. They should exist. The problem is, does that restrict drone usage to people who really genuinely file in flight plans and file in commercial use and maybe pay for it and have a genuine need to create footage rather than it just being a hobby? As of 2018, new laws have come in the UK. I can't vouch for the accuracy of this website, but assuming that it's true, as of 30th of July, there's new laws around altitude and boundaries, and you can now face a fine of up to £2,500 or 5 years in prison. And there's currently a consultation period open, which is ending in about 2 weeks, talking about minimum age for drone usage, increasing the protected area around airspace, fixed penalties, all sorts of things for people using drones. It's all stuff to further make me think, really, can I fly this? Would I actually be able to use it anywhere? So this is a map. Let me just expand this out. This is a map of the UK that shows the areas. If I could maybe zoom this map out just a touch. This is an area, these are the ones, the airspace, this is the airspace in the UK. And I know what people will be thinking looking at this. They'll be saying, well, there's plenty of areas on there that are not marked by restricted airspace. And that's true. There's a lovely part close to where I live. Obviously, I've lost my cursor here. If I just zoom in here, and we could maybe go out to the Brecon Beacons and do some fantastic stuff here. But I know that there's also military stuff that goes on here as well. And you could get some lovely footage of the Brecon Beacons, but that's just footage like a lot of other footage, really. I don't really have that particular need. If someone was doing a project on the Brecon Beacons or needed to do something, then that's great. But it's just the Brecon Beacons, isn't it? And it's the same with Snowdon. You look up at Snowdon and you sort of think, okay, well, you could do some wonderful filming around Snowdonia National Park, but again, not sure the laws around national parks. They're probably restricted. I'm not sure, it's not marked on here, but my guess is there would be some extra restriction, and there certainly is restriction around the peak of Snowdon itself. If I look down in Bristol here, where I actually live, you can see that this whole area is restricted airspace because of the airport. And as I mentioned, there is also Filton Airport here, which has helicopter traffic for air ambulance and police helicopters. And that's up at there it is, Filton there. Can you see that? Yeah. So all these green areas here in Bristol are off limits, and all this area would be off limit anyway, because you can't fly a drone within 50 meters of somebody. So then I thought, well, okay, what about some places we go to? Could I maybe take it to relatives or something? And when you go away on breaks and stuff, and you want to have a go. So I started looking at other areas where we go. I looked through all areas where I've filmed in recent times, and I could not fly the drone in one of them for various reasons, whether it be close to an RAF area, whether it be close to a private house, so a royal house or something like that, and therefore you've got the chance of going into their airspace. The airports close by, built up areas too close by. None of the areas that I have filmed in recently could I fly a drone in. So I'm thinking to myself, where can I fly one? And that's my main question to you. So you've got the expense side, yes. You've got are these really that portable? Not too sure about that. But where do you fly your drone? How do you get by these rules? How do you fly it somewhere and not have to? Are you just breaking the rules? Because you can't, can you? If you break the rules and you're going to use that footage anywhere, then you've got footage of you breaking the rules. And this was brought up on a video that is it Tony and Chelsea did recently. It was Tony that did a video about a similar thing, talking about should you buy a drone or not. And he made a good point. He said, if you're going to use that footage anywhere,
then that is just evidence of you flying in an area you shouldn't have flown. So anyway, that's my kind of chat for this morning, and I would really love someone to come back to me and say, actually, no, it's not too bad. You can do this and you can do that, and there are areas here, there, and everywhere, and it's actually not too difficult to find somewhere to fly. What I realistically think is that people just flaunt the rules and break the rules, and that's not something that I really want to do, and I don't think that any responsible pilot should do that. So I'm just wondering how all these people own and buy these drones and manage to fly them, because I'm just thinking that as the main limiting factor these days. Unless I can commercially pay for licenses and get agreements and go through all that on a production that is making money, then yeah, where can you use these things these days? Really interested to hear what you've got to say on that subject. Please put it down in the comments. Thanks for listening to me talk about this. And yeah, I'm really surprised that I've come this many years down the line and still have never used one. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.